can't we tell that they are research interest or teaching interest instead of writing skills?
No, in that case, this is very broad. When you say research-related skills, or these are very broad. Like I would say, in our, for example, writing clearly, writing different types of reports. These are, these are specific skills. Like giving a professional oral presentation. These are something that we teach our students in the communication class to be able to. Now, these are some of the skills that they have to, and they go into the interpersonal skills. Now, the field related could be related to the major. In the major, for example, my students, they should be able, for example, to tell me something about like if they're going into education, classroom management, planning a lesson. These are the skills. So depending on the major. So I would advise, like, you go to your advisors, and these skills are very specific skills that you have to do. So field related. The second type of skills that you have to have, yes, we cannot undermine the importance of technology in our work. So the more knowledge you have or expertise in software or in computer skills in general, you have to list. For example, if somebody knows how to use the SPSS, I'm giving examples from things that relate to my domain, then definitely I would write SPSS. For example, in your cases, I think some people, they would have the AutoCAD or any other, would write it there. And the third important subcategory, the interpersonal skills. And don't underestimate this skill. In fact, if you go to the next slide, the top 10 skills for a resume in 2021 are these. Creativity, interpersonal skills here, like it goes into communication, it could be subdivided. Critical thinking, problem solving, public speaking, giving speeches, customer service skills, because at the end you need to satisfy the customer no matter what you are doing. Teamwork skills, that's why in our classes we try to always to ensure that students are working in teams. Communication skills, oral and written. Leadership, and definitely the computer skills. So these are the top skills that are found in a resume 2021, and this is found in fact basically like career blog. Yeah, okay. So that's why you need to have them. The question is, do I write these in my resume if I don't have them?
No.
No, because later on, if you wrote really a very impressive CV, and your employer said, "Wow, this is the person I want him," then in the interview, they will try to find out whether you have these skills or not. Now, if they find that you don't have these skills, then you lose your credibility. So if you had a chance, for example, to be hired in 1%, you lost that 1%, because they don't want to have people who are not credible. Okay? Next. Now, after skills, we should have languages. Nowadays, the more languages you speak, the better. Why this is so? Because language cannot be separated from culture, cannot be separated from a way of thinking. The more languages you speak, okay, the better you are. Because in that case, they need to, the employer would feel very happy to have people in his or her company that speak more than one language. Because nowadays, we're living, in a world that is so global that we have business with everyone, everywhere. So if you have somebody who speaks a language of another country, this means that not only the language, is that I am able to deal with that foreigner to avoid any intercultural misunderstandings. Okay? It is not enough to list the language, you have to list the language and how fluent you are. Even if you have a working knowledge of that language, list it, because this could be the only thing that differentiates you from somebody exactly, it could be your classmate was exposed to the same kind of training, coursework, and so on. So list that. Okay, so this is how it goes, like Arabic. Don't underestimate our language, please. Arabic is very, very important. It is, one of the languages in the UN. For that reason, feel proud that you speak our language, okay? So Arabic is native tongue, which means that you are fluent and you are able to read, write, and express yourself freely. English, by that level, as RHU students exposed to all English courses, and the medium of instruction is English, then you have to be fluent. If not fluent, you have to level your proficiency up to to be fluent. And probably French, if it is a working knowledge. I use this, but it could be in your cases, your French is your first foreign language. English could be second foreign language, and then it could be, I don't know, other languages for that. Okay, German, yes. Now, so, can anybody tell me what are the sections so far? Contact information. Okay. Education. For those who have the experience, if they do not have experience, they have probably they work in the Red Cross, volunteering. This is very good to write volunteering. If it is a summer job, you write it's a summer job. If it is work study, you mention work study. If you don't have any, you don't mention that. Okay? Then, skills and language. Now, we come to section where we have something like people sometimes got honors, probably they won awards, or probably they have, they are very, very active students and they are participating in extracurricular activities. Extracurricular activities means that any activities beyond the classroom, something that you do for fun, like clubs, like societies, the ASCE, go there, and it can go under membership, because this is a membership, right? Whereas the public speaking, the club, it's a club, and also there is membership, and also we would have like titles within that club, and so on and so forth. So, why to bother? Please, the honors activities, they provide additional information about your qualification. It gives an idea about you, the person, who you are, rather than only the student, because this is done beyond. If you have a lot of practices or probably involved in social activities, this gives an idea about how social you are, like you have experience at least dealing with people, you fundraise raise for certain, activity. All of this would give an idea about how active you are. Now, so, all right. So in that case, why bother? This is what we said. Please go to the next slide. What do we include in that section? We have to include definitely the name of the club or the society or any other thing. We have to talk about the title or position, if you are the treasurer, if you are the secretary, if you are the president, sponsors or affiliated organizations, if you have dates of involvement in terms of, semester or the month and the year, and if this was just temporary, now you're not doing it, you have to say from to. And if I have more than one activity, again, I have to present in which order? Reverse chronological. Thank you. Very attentive. Okay, go please to the next slide. Okay, and now some of the skills and honors, because we said that we need to impress our employer, I might feel that because I have, for example, won a lot of awards, patent awards for example. Some students are doing magic, our students. So if you feel like this could be much more important than, or more impressive than the languages that I have, I can move it up. So the key thing is that know yourself. What are your strengths? And basically you would order accordingly. Okay? Now, references or referees. So after we mention all of this, we come to the references or referees. Usually at the end of our resume, we would have references or referees. And these could be the people who can recommend us for the job. Now, generally we say, whenever you're applying to your resume, we say it is preferable to mention like they are available upon request. Some jobs, they ask you to name 2 referees. They want that. So some jobs they will say, please submit your resume naming 2 referees or 2 references. In that case, we have to name our references. In your cases, who could be the best reference for you? Advisor, or another probably professor with whom you have taken a lot of courses with. You were a good student, you had good grades, you did not give him or her hard time, so that he or she can recommend you. Keep in mind that recommendations are sealed, or a recommendation letter never ever you would have, you can see it, or probably it will be performed through a form online. So, don't ask if, for example, any professor with whom you were not attentive enough, you did not show that you are really a good student, vocal, contributed high grades, okay? Now, if you work and your job is very much related to the work experience, probably one of the references would be the advisor, the other could be your employer. In that case, he or she can give an idea about you in the industry. Now, do I name them before asking their permission to list? No. Don't please take your professors for granted. It is more professional. Although we can do this with the pleasure and we feel that this is part of our duties, but you cannot take people for granted. It is more professional to either you send an email to your advisor or professor requesting that, telling him or her that you would like to mention him as or her as your reference, or probably you can, we have an open door policy, you can knock the door and say, I'm applying to so-and-so and I would like to name you to be my referee. And then you have to take the info from your advisor, like how he or she like to be contacted. For example, your professor does not want to give his or her mobile number. So in that case, you have to give the telephone number of the workplace. So it is the university's telephone number plus the extension. And then you have to give definitely the name of your professor, the address, email address, and telephone number. And it would be, I took mine, for example. This is how it should be, without the bullets, sorry. Okay? So this is how it should be. No bullets, okay? That's it. Next, please. Now, we come to formatting guidelines. So this is the end of the last thing in your resume in terms content. We come to formatting. As you know, formatting is one of the important steps in the writing process that most students overlook. They write and they don't think about formatting. In the workplace communication, formatting is as important as the content itself. Because remember, it is your identity, professional identity, and it is your credibility. So we need to format properly. And formatting contributes to readability. The more formatted the CV or the resume, sorry, the better it is read. Yani the reader, your employer, would read it without having difficulty seeing the font size, the too many colors, if it is not well aligned. So I have to make his or her life as easy as possible. So how to format it? We have to think about the size, the font size, and font type, which parts we need to highlight to emphasize, because you know that one thing of to emphasize something, we use the bold, we use italics. Your bold, it's primary emphasis, italics is secondary in emphasis. We have to think about alignment. Sometimes we use columns, okay? And we have to coordinate with the rest of the resume. So, more details, the length, as we said, resume, it is expected to be 1 to 2 pages for the fresh graduates. We say it is 2 pages because we say include coursework, up to 2 to 3 courses that relate to the job you're applying to, and probably if you want to add 1 or 2 majors that you did and they are worthwhile mentioning. The font size, as we know, and the font type. It is, as we know, what is that font type? It is recommended Times New Roman or Arial. Times New Roman 12, Arial 11.
Why?
Because this is the readability. In the professional English communication, recommended font types are the Times New Roman and the Arial.
Not calligraphy.
No, no. That's why we use that. That's why our students in 217, they have to use this. It is more readable. Yeah? And both of them are okay. Times New Roman because it is smaller, it is a 12, but the Arial is bigger when you go for the 11. I think, professors at the university should know exactly what we teach so that they keep following, especially when they have to do the senior projects and so on and so forth. Okay, when we print it out, never ever go below 10 because it would be too small for the person to read, especially when it is hard copy or even if it is soft. If you want to print our resume, now it is very important to take good care of the quality of the paper that we print on. Now we have it cheap because of the prices, but in that case, don't go stingy. Get good quality paper. It should be white or off-white because the text, the print is black to make the contrast. Don't go for colored background. It should be white or off-white, okay? And the proofreading, the last step in the writing process. Okay, after formatting, I want to proofread. What mistakes do we detect in proofreading? Typos, not the spelling, typos. Okay, what else? Whether we have proper alignment, whether we missed any kind of punctuation, whether we should have capitalized something or we did not, or italicized something we did not. So it is the last quality control check, and it is called the triple check for accuracy, because one typo could cost you an interview, okay? Because it is your credibility. So that's why we have to, again, to proofread. So the last thing I would say, a formula for success. Tailor your resume for your audience. Use appropriate headings. The headings, we have them bold, okay? Organize your sections strategically. Develop your descriptions, the verb phrases. I forgot, I had a list I wanted to give you takeaway, but I forgot. But you're most welcome to come to my office. I can give them because I did the photocopying. Descriptive, verbs that you can use for your descriptions. Make your descriptions parallel and see through a potential employer's eyes. This is what I always say, like, put yourself in your reader's shoes. Assume the role of the employer and check your resume. Is it persuasive enough or not? Did you do everything or not? This is something like the CV, like where you can see how it is. We're talking about alignment, we're talking about like using the columns, parallelism, and the second slide, it is the rest. As you see, everything is dated. We have this heading would indicate like this is a heading, everything in bullets, proper. And the last thing I would say, I have the references, my references, okay? And last, thank you. Questions, comments?